Welcome to the MSRM podcast, the podcast that explores the tools and trends redefining modern leadership. My name is Swambhu Mishra.
And I am Sushil Agarwal, and today we'll be delving into one of the most transformative innovations of analytics, that is, no-code data analysis, and how it is impacting the world.
We are super excited to have this conversation with Mr. Partha, Assistant Vice President, AI Center of Excellence at Datamatic Global Solutions. Hello, sir.
Hi.
And honestly, such a game changer. No more waiting on analysis for weeks just to get a report. Managers can now jump in themselves and slice the data and get insights in real time.
So stay with us as we discuss why over 85% of the companies are adopting this no-code data analysis. So let's start from the very basic. What exactly is this no-code data analysis?
Okay, so the point maybe we need to start about that in this industry, how this data analysis or analytical process it goes with. So we have to think of like the life cycle of the analysis. Let's look into that part. So the life cycle starts from the data. So we have to collect multiple points, the data. We collect it, and there is a long process of processing it. So let's think of data is coming from different sides. Let's say from the mobile, from the cloud. Maybe that data is generated from the one machine. So multiple ways the data could be generated. So all we need to capture. When it is captured, then the first processing would be started. So when I'm thinking of the processing, it is a very tedious, time-consuming process because the data itself is problematic. We have to, sometimes we call it the wrangling the data. So you have to wrangle the data. You have to make the data suitable for the analysis. So when this is going on, then it takes a lot of time because wrangling itself, present time in industry, it takes few days, even few weeks. Even you know that the skill set is very much needed for that. So this process, I can say for last 20 years, 30 years, the process is going on. And multiple sectors, multiple industries, even multiple ways, we found that this is taking a lot time. And when the decision makers who is sitting down the end of this life cycle. So again, life cycle starts at the data, and it is just like going to the manager who would be making the decision. So who would be making the decision? Ultimately, it is starting from the data point, and that is so far not processed. It is still the process is going on, and the manager is waiting at the somewhere at the right side, and it is taking long time. So this long time due to the processing, and when the manager is getting it, probably the proper necessity or efficiency, that part exactly it is something reduced. I need something today to address the particular decision. I have to do that one. I need within 6 hours, 10 hours from the processors who are doing that. We need that from them. So when we are looking for that within few hours, it is coming after 1 week. So when it is reaching to May, that time it is already, the time is gone. So it is not effective to the market. So that is something that traditional process, it is going on so far in the market. So this traditional process is slow, and that is something not absolutely not acceptable. It was not. But in 2025, 2024, we are looking into that this traditional process is now changing.
So the efficiency, the root problem is the efficiency, is it?
Right, absolutely. So when you are talking about the efficiency, probably that point we can think of efficiency from the 2 points. One, the speed, and as well as the effectiveness towards the decision makers. So speed is like just I was talking about, the entire life cycle is quite long in the traditional process. Yeah. So that traditional process exactly that it takes time to reach to the decision maker, and when the effectiveness I am thinking just like you were asking about that, then probably to the market the timing is most important. That's something the speed was not enough to make that effectiveness to the market.
So is it the only difference between the traditional BI and no-code analysis, or there are some different parameters which can be thought of?
Yeah, right point. Yep. So this traditional process, basically, we can think of right this way. One, the speed we discussed.
Yes.
Another one, we can think of the availability. So availability is just one point to think of. Like one decision maker who is looking to make the decision, he needs or she needs particular data or the information. So now present modern time is more of data driven. So when we are thinking of that effectiveness, the speed is important, but another thing is most important is the availability of the data. So the person who is making that decision, he needs something, the data before him with the decision was not available that time in the traditional process, because somewhere it was in the database, somewhere it is not visible to him. So one, speed, and then the next point coming up, the availability of the data. That transformation of data is most important now with this modern process. So this no code, exactly the giving the power to the decision maker, that data availability. So information availability, now I'm talking about this information availability. That is something, the next point of the effectiveness. And the third point is that the skill. So sometimes you think of that. So the skill point, just like we can think of many managers are there, and it is obvious that one manager may not be very much of technically strong. Maybe they are good in decision making, they are good in management. So for them, the skill, absence of the skill was that technology. So that technology is another third point. So first point, speed. Second point, the availability of data. And third one is the skill. So the skill was not there at that time. So now the manager can go with the new process of no code process that you asked probably that time, that kind of difference.
Yes.
So that difference is now coming up with this no code, that without understanding that technology or that skill may not be there with the managers, they can go ahead to understand or analyze the process. So the three ways the effectiveness is coming. You asked that effectiveness. Yes. So this is the absolute, the three ways we are getting the power, or decision makers getting power.
So even if right now, if there is employees or students who don't have this particular skill set, even they can perform.
Right, absolutely. So that is not necessity at this moment. So previously we can think of one manager, maybe he would be more powerful with the technology, but we cannot say that. We can say that if you are good with your management skill, go ahead with this no code.
Yes. So, sir, along with the managers, how can the students, how can the students can take the most advantage of this no code analysis?
Right. So when you were talking about this analysis from the student's perspective, so the studentship is like this. When you are learning the process, that time what was happening in the previous, before 22, 23, probably you are forced to understand, okay, you learn the Python, you learn that R, you learn this programming language.
This mindset that it's essential.
Yeah.
To excel, you need to learn Python and
Yeah.
Java.
Without the technical skills,
Right.
we cannot perform.
Yeah, I mean that time it was been very much of that. You are forced, or you are absolute to learn that one. Then you were,
from C++.
Yeah.
Going learning is a big
yeah, yeah. Now probably if the change is like that, it would not be necessity, or it would not needed absolutely to make the decisions. So there's no code is something giving you that. Your question was that, like, from the student's perspective, how it is most important. The importance coming in that it is not about the technology you have to learn. It about that what you have, that what is your understanding so far with your subject, or your knowledge that you are learning during the process, how you can apply that through this no code. So you can do that one without knowing the technology. So that is the positive side here for the students. So it's more about how to use your knowledge through no code. It's not about to learn the technology, another burden. So I can think of this, it's not another burden. It's about that whatever you are learning, go ahead with the no code.
You can focus more on the core skills which we have.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you are right. So better to focus on your learning or students' learning process and the core understanding or subject knowledge. I can prefer that one.
If Right. Like if things are gonna change from this minute level to, like, it will go to the corporate, right? So there will definitely be a cultural shift, sir. What do you want to say about it?
You are absolutely right. So when this transformation is going on in that particular corporate level, org level, also the change in the culture. So that culture change we can think of like this. Now, in that particular company itself, the process was like this. So, at the very starting, at the top, who are making the decisions. Then, after that, the information was shared to the technology, the core team. Technology team was making that particular processing, and then it would be going to again that outcome, the result to the decision makers. So this is kind of one kind of sequential process we can think of. So that sequence process was there, that culture. And even that we can think of that multiple kind of departments. Here the departments we can think of the HR departments, you can think of the marketing, sales, finance, all those
All the
departments.
departments.
They are also part of that. So this process was the traditional process in that particular company. Now the no code, when it is coming, the process is that it is not about the waiting. It's not about the waiting of that decision maker for that technology team. Just like previously it was sequential. So now it is not sequential. The decision maker itself, just like we discussed, he has that availability of the data and that no code. So he can make that one. Instead of waiting for the technology team, he can do that one.
Like an efficiency.
Yeah,
Like,
that again, that
they already
efficiency.
have it.
Yeah.
They just have to execute it.
Right. The execution is coming in here. And then culture is like that. This is now more integrated. So now think of that something, that marketing sales team is there. So they are gathering the info from the outside. It is coming to me or something. Let's say that marketing manager is there, the pulling the data from the market sales team. Then the entire team worked in it. Then it is going to the another department, let's say finance department, to get that particular outcome from there. And then the decision coming that okay, we should go with this product, with this service, the new launch would be there or not. So it's a kind of again kind of dependency of one department with another one. But now think of the cultural change. It's now like those teams are all integrated. When the marketing team using the no code for the decision, they know the data is already there from the sales side. They no need to wait for the particular the information.
Coordination will be better.
The coordination would be, the integration would be better. So this cultural factor is that more integrated, more less dependency, more on decision making. So it's more of outcome based.
You can invest more time in making the decision rather than waiting for someone else to coordinate accordingly, and then
Yeah.
so it will lead to
Yeah, in fact, that efficiency, that effectiveness
Yeah.
that you are talking, that's very much cultural point is also that one. But here another problem here there in this industry is now facing, that is something the silos. So the silos is like this, that something it is not properly distributed. Like just one point we discussed, that when you ask the effectiveness, we discuss the availability of data or availability of the information. So sometimes what happens, this data comes, it is somewhere cornered, somewhere it is something very much of you can stored in a place that is not available to everyone. So it is kind
people
of,
are not aware of it.
maybe they're not aware, or maybe that's something they are aware but they don't have the access, or they don't know how to access it. Again, that technology point is coming
Technical
up,
thing,
the
right.
skill set. They know that it is data is there, but they are dependent to the technology person. And sometimes it is a skill set, something that is not available to the company. So that case, the problem would be that it is not accessible.
Accessible.
Yeah.
The accessibility is the
Yeah, absolutely. Just like we discussed about the availability and accessibility is one point of the effectiveness,
right.
not only speed. So that is something we can think of that also.
an important aspect. So when we were talking about the department thing, like how different departments can utilize it, and we can we dive more into that, like how managers can win no code. That's
Okay.
the important. Like we are going to be the future managers. So
Yeah, okay,
it's an
absolutely.
important aspect.
Absolutely. Okay, I got your point. Let's think of that. So let's think of this way. I would be looking into different departments, something that how most important part would be covered into one department. Let's say starting with the sales. So when it is sales management, so let's say you are going to the sales management post your degree. So that time the sales management, you have to cover the procurement, the sales channel. So those things would be needed to be managed in that. So that integration or that procurement or the sales process management itself, it is not integrated. So you are not very much of towards the market. Maybe you are again the process of that, maybe skill set, maybe speed, that would be the problem in the skill in the sales management point also, that things are not so much integrated. So here no code is giving them the power to the sales manager that whenever the data is available, let's say the morning you are getting from your sales field manager or maybe the person who is in the field, he has given you one info. So that info may be in Excel. As sales manager, you can use the Excel, you can go with the no code, you can understand that what is the meaning behind it, and you can go with the decision with the as sales manager. So it was not there in that previous time. So that what was the previous time? You after getting the data, you have to go with the help of the technology person or analyst. He would be coming
He
to
will
you.
be giving and redefining the data, and he will coordinate. This whole process will skip.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm going with another thing, that marketing management. Okay, so
Okay.
marketing, something you can think of the ROI is one important. So we have to think of that what is the return on that investment, and that time you have to think of that how this particular the people around you who is giving you the data which is more impacting to the return. So maybe the 100 different occasions are there, cases are there. You have to take the 5 important cases that would be more impactful for the ROI. That you have to find out. Again, that decision out of 100, 5, you have to find out the best one, best 5. How could you do that one?
Opportunity.
So, opportunity, you would be losing if you are not taking all those
we
things.
will lose.
All right. So that again, that change of the culture that you're asking about, that
It's a big difference.
big difference from there. Yeah. Then let's say go into the finance one. So finance again, that when they are thinking about the finance, probably the KPIs are there, multiple KPIs, whether you are properly, the ratios are maintained, whether that particular paper, the processing is done. So the paper is like in the finance, the paper is like your procurement kind of paper, your documents, all those documents should be there all together, that should be processed, and that finance manager would be verifying all these things are integrated properly or not. So that case again, it is coming to that no code, that the processing itself would be taking. So workflow management here, there. So entire workflow that would be again coming into easier way of no code process. So that finance manager can understand by this process easily they can verify that whether this paper that is from the sales management point of view, sales manager provided with the marketing manager, that those papers provided, are they really aligned? So that alignment probably one finance manager would be thinking of. So that would be again possible from the no code.
Coordination and audit between the departments is also
Exactly. That point is something you are right. So that's something we need to think of, that how this kind of audited points from the finance management point of view, how it would be. It was a little bit not so easy. It was without no code, because again the processing of the document was not so easy. It is again the technology is something. Even you don't know how to use the technology to process the document.
in every parameter, people need to be dependent on that technical part, which can be skipped with no code.
Yes,
That is
something like that. Probably that is something the people is more important than the technology. So you just know that one, that very often we tell that the customer first. The term is now with the industry, customer first. I mean, it's not about that what you are doing, it's about the customer what is asking.
like prioritizing customers.
So now you can think of with this no code, the culture that you asked sometimes back. So culture is no more about the technology first. It's more about the people first. So the people around you, it's more important to you. It's about how the people will be behaving, reacting to your action. That will be more important. It's not about how technology is working with you.
It's like people like the corporate can use their resources even in a much better way.
Yeah.
By the use of this
Optimization of resources.
optimization of assets.
Right.
So, sir,
Yeah.
we have seen the impact of many things in the today's generation. So, what will this no-code analysis like? What revolution will it bring in the today's world and the decision-making part?
Yeah. So think of this way, that we discussed so far the transformation of data, the traditional, from the traditional point of view, that how it is changing with the no code, the cultural point of view. So altogether, if you are asking the question like this, the impact of that, so it would be impacting over the overall the process of decision making. So we discussed at the very first that data is something there, then the processing was there, and then the last, the decision maker would be waiting for that. Now it is not more of sequential state line kind of, it is more of circular type. So when one decision maker is finding that, okay, somewhere the mistake is there, somewhere that gap is there. So just like we are discussing different departments. So let's say that marketing manager, something the info that is gathered and decision maker from the finance point of view, maybe that is not aligned. So quickly he can or she can come back and can think of that this point somewhere missing, maybe that is improvement, something needed to be done. So that improvement is something very much important. That impact probably is very much coming up with this no code process.
So it's like we can skip those waiting period and directly jump to the decision-making part.
Yes, that is
That's the most
something.
efficient part.
Yeah,
That's the most revolutionary thing.
yeah, absolutely. So that you are talking right, that like it's not like you can think of from org point of view, that the people are not in the kind of hierarchical process or not at the vertical way. It is not that one department, just like we are talking, it is not dependent to that way. It is not more of that circular way.
Circular.
I mean, just like you told that the process waiting time would be less. So one department would be very much coupled with each other. So the process of no coding is basically just making them more aligned. It is just like to and fro process.
It's a continuous process that more effectiveness will be at maximum.
Yeah.
So, sir, we have seen the impact of AI and many other things. So, how will this, the no-code analysis, bring revolution in the decision making in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely the question is not with you. It's not for me only. The question is absolutely this entire kind of cultural shift, or the thing is now going on in 2025. Even we are expecting in 2026. This question would be reiterated multiple times. Like when we are thinking of this classical or traditional decision-making process, the long process, waiting time was much more. Then what we have discussed, that the decision process that is coming with that effective way, shorter time, speed, even the availability of the data, the transformation of data, those things we discussed. But the most important part of the decision making process is that when we are making the decisions, we need to understand the market. When it is the market understanding, then we need to make the different hypotheses, those hypotheses to be tested. I mean that we are very easier way, we have to validate the things. So when the validation is coming up with the market data, then that most important part would be how we are validating it. Again, it is time taking process for one decision maker. We discussed the multiple departments are there, they are now connected with a no code, but when they are connected, then that process would be like, I have to take, or decision maker has to take one decision based on the particular validation. Now with the generative AI, that process is coming, that would be making this no code way, faster way, how we can make the decision faster, it can make the validation. So the future that you are talking about, you are asking me, the question would be more answered this way. The generative AI is giving up the power to analyze the market quickly, to validate, and then we can make the decision. So ultimate decision is coming with the validation. So this thing probably it is a very important part, and it would be more deeper to understand that how we can make that decision making process. So it's a kind, we can think of decision making process to answer that.
So, it was truly amazing to know how the managers earlier took days or even weeks, and now in just a few hours in the decision making process. Also, not just the managers, but how the students, even the students, can use this revolution. And finally, how different departments in an organization can collaborate with such efficiency in the decision making process. It was truly an amazing journey.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experiences. It was an amazing discussion,
Welcome.
and we are going to continue this conversation with Partha sir about decision making processes in our next video. So stay tuned till that. Thank you. Thank you so much.